Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on what side of the pond you're on, and welcome to an extra special edition of Across the Pitch. My name is Phil Kennedy, and I'm here with my co-host Tony Robinson, and we're very excited today because we're kicking off with our very first player interview of the 2021-22 Accrington Stanley season. And we're also very excited because the guy that we have with us today is the very first signing of the season. So it's very appropriate for him to be the first one to join us here on Across the Pitch. He's already made an impact on the pitch within the first few games. So just welcome to the show, Harry Pell. Thank you so much for joining us, Harry. How are you doing today?
I'm very, very good. I'm very good. Thank you.
Hi, Harry. This is Tony. We appreciate you coming on the show. And as I say, we're just have a nice, relaxing chat. No high pressure stuff. We're not really an investigative reporting, are we, Harry Pell? But we like to have some fun and just get to know you. I just wanted to kick things off, and as I was doing some research for the show, and we'll get into more of this later on. I mean, coming from down London up to the north, so I think we'll touch on a couple of things there. But I was interested if you could maybe give us a little bit of background, or if you want to. You've got one of your given names is, and I hope I pronounce this right, is Balraj. Is there a story behind that?
Yeah, what a way to kick this chat off. I'm actually quite embarrassed by it, if I'm being honest. To cut a long story short, my dad at work had a best friend who was an Indian fella. And they had a bet over, I think it was a game of cards at the time. My mum was pregnant, and then Balraj's wife was pregnant, and whoever lost the bet had to put each other's name in their child's full name. So basically, my dad lost, and I drew the short straw. So yeah, thank you very much for that. But
That's a great story. What if your dad had won the bet? What would have been the name going the other way?
Oh no, it would have been Raymond for
Raymond,
Balraj's son. Yeah, so my dad's called Raymond. Yeah, so yeah, it's so many people pick me up on it all the time, and yeah, it's just one of them stories that it's quite fun, isn't it? And yeah. I do get quite a bit of stick for it. I'm not going to lie.
We mostly wanted to talk to you here about your football career today, and you're only 29 years old, but you've had a great career already where you've played over 300 league matches here, and just going through, you've played with Colchester was the most recent club you were with. You've also played with Cheltenham, AFC Wimbledon, Hereford, and of course you've played against Accrington Stanley with a few of those teams also. So let's kind of go back and talk about some of those matches when you've played against Accrington Stanley in the past, because I think that so often what we find is that maybe when a player comes over to Accrington, it's because maybe John Coleman has liked what he's seen when he played against Accrington on the pitch. So was Accrington a team when you played against them that you ever kind of looked and said, hey, I'd like to play there someday. I like the way they play. I like their style, that type of thing.
I'll be completely honest with you. Early on in my career, and like you say, when I come up against Accrington, I always thought it was a disgusting place to come. I know that sounds quite funny, but it really was. I hated coming up against the Gaffers teams. I hated the way that they played. I hated the feel of the club. I hated coming here because I knew that if me and my team wasn't on it, that you'd easily get found out. And, me coming here now, I have that mindset. As a player, I like to think that I've always had that kind of mindset that I love turning games ugly. I love getting in the thick of things. And yeah, it was one of them that in the summer, I can tell you so much about it really, that I didn't know really which way that I was going to go. I didn't know whether to see the summer out. I always knew that I was going to be leaving Colchester. My decision was made up even before the end of the season. But you know, I come and met John, and I met the chairman as well. And you know, if I'm being honest, I probably could have held out and possibly went on to more money at a top, maybe League Two team, maybe a League One team. But when I come and met the gaffer and I met Andy, I left with my agent that day, and I literally couldn't wait to get the contract signed. And I really bought into the way that this club's going to push forward and the thoughts behind the process of the club. And again, the gaffer explained to me what he wants in his players, the principles that he had, and I just found that his principles and my principles are not too far apart whatsoever. So I was really keen to get it done, and it was done so early. And you know, we've kicked off the season. We've had a real good start to the season. I know it's only a tiny start. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But yeah, the values of the club just match mine completely.
Well, when you mentioned that, Harry, there's got to be something that differentiates a club from some others, especially when that club like Stanley can't meet the top wages. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Is that what's different in this era is the coaching staff, John, Jimmy, and John, and the chairman. I think, and you mentioned earlier honesty. I think that's a common thread through everybody in that conversation. Correct?
Yeah, no, it was. I laid my cards out on the table completely. The gaffer's fully aware that my last year at Colchester, I kind of fell out of love with football a little bit, and I'm a bright and bubbly character. I'm a real people person, and you know, the first 2 years at Colchester, I was first one in the training ground, last one out every day. Thoroughly enjoyed the people that I was working with, and then decisions got made, and I saw a lot of good players around me leave. Obviously, listen, I have a lot of respect for the way different people run their football clubs and the way different clubs work. But, you know, as an experienced pro, that I've never been one to go to a club and not want to win things. The ambition for Colchester was always to get promoted. We got really close the 2 years previous, and then obviously I signed a 3-year contract when I went there, and I felt almost like all the experience and the leaders around me had left, which left me with captaincy at Colchester. And it just didn't, the season itself didn't pan out nowhere near what I wanted. So, you know, like I said, I fell out of love with football a little bit, and I need to work with good people. I love the fact that when I go into Accrington, I'm going into a war every Saturday, every Tuesday. I'm in the trenches with boys that I want to be in the trenches with. I can't speak highly enough of the team that we have on and off the pitch. I think that, you know, I've done my research. I've done a lot of research before coming here with the players that we've got. I already obviously knew Cameron Burgess. I knew Sean McConville, and obviously I knew Billy Key. So I've done a lot of homework, and everything that they said has been correct. It's fantastic.
Well, one of the things I go ahead,
Tony. No, go ahead, Tony.
No, I was just one thing I noticed with your interviews, Harry, is that there, and you mentioned this word, and we've touched on a couple of times already, is the word honest. I don't find your interviews are like with a lot of players. They're not full of cliches. It's sort of a really honest, bare your chest kind of response from you. Is that something that just comes naturally, or do you sort of focus on that?
Well, no, it does come natural. But like I said to you, when you're dealing with good people, and there's very good people here, it makes you go the extra yard. And I can remember speaking to John Coleman and Andy Holt, and the last thing that I said to John Coleman when I left that day was, listen, Gaffer, if I come here, I just want you to know that I'll run through a brick wall for you. And I like to think that that's the sort of player I am. I mean, you look at our team, and there's your Dion Charles, your Bishops, there's so many good players. And the thing that I know that I can bring to the team is, like I said to you, I'd never put commitment as being an issue beside my name. And like I said to you, it's literally that all the boys know their jobs. They know their jobs thoroughly, and there's no coincidence to me that everybody says there's so many people in football that say Accrington punch well above their weight every year. Well, it's definitely not a coincidence. And like I said, I'm thoroughly loving it at the moment.
So with Accrington being in League One, and I'm looking through your career where most of the time you've been in League Two. So was the fact that you got to jump up to League One and move into that tier, was that something that really appealed to you and made you want to come to Accrington?
Yeah, obviously the League One football side of it. I don't think that I would have come here if I didn't feel like I could affect games of football. And like I said, the team that Accrington is, the style of football, it really does, well, I'd like to think it really does suit me. But yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I generally really love the fact of big clubs coming to Accrington and looking down their nose at us a little bit, and that underdog feeling that most people write us off. And I generally don't think that there'll be many teams coming to the Wham Stadium and getting on that coach after a game and thinking to themselves that was an easy game that today.
I think that's something with Accrington. I know we talked about at the end of last season, there was a couple of matches against Portsmouth, and at that point in the season, that Accrington was in a spot where mathematically we couldn't get promoted, we couldn't go down, so the games were meaningless in terms of the table. Pompey, on the other hand, they really needed those games. Accrington, we came in, took 4 points out of the two matches and kept Pompey from getting promoted. So, I mean, that to me really, it shows that the team is just committed to playing, and they leave it on the pitch every time. And like you said, it comes down to the group of people that John Coleman brings in. And like you said, to a man, every person on the team is committed to the same goal. And I think that's what allows Accrington to punch above their weight, like you've been mentioning.
100%. I totally agree with you.
Now, one thing I always kind of like to look for is when a player comes over to Accrington and see if when you had played against Accrington, maybe you'd gotten on the score sheet against us before. And I did see here it was when you were playing with Cheltenham in 2017, you did have an assist on what was the only goal on a 1-1 draw. And I always kind of think, maybe John Coleman records who gets on the score sheet in those games when he's going out to sign people later. Is that something he ever brought up to you? When you got that assist against Accrington a few years ago?
Well, when I did speak to the gaffer, and I think it's been documented that he's fancied me for quite a while, and I've always been in contract. And I think it was stated that he's been chasing me for 5 years, 6 years or so.
Yeah.
You know what? If hand on heart, I wish that he would have come in for me sooner, because like I said, it's early doors for me here. But in these few weeks, and I've thoroughly just enjoyed every moment of it. And yeah, long may it continue.
That leads us into a question I've got from one of our co-hosts, Darren Woodhead, who actually lives in Accrington and has been at the 2 home matches so far. He was a big fan when you signed. He was saying to us that he was always impressed when you played against Stanley, and he said that normally you play it out wide right when you played against Stanley, but so far your role has been more in the central position. Do you have a preference which of those positions you would like to play?
Yeah, I mean, I remember them days at Cheltenham. We went to like a 4-2-4 kind of system, and what Cheltenham done, they played with 2 holding midfielders, and they put me wide right. And one of our phases of play would be when the left back would get the ball or the left winger. I would always come into that back post position. Obviously, with my height and liking to head the ball, it was quite effective. And in that season, I think I scored 9 goals or something around that figure. So it was just literally for effectiveness. But I've never ever been a right winger, if I'm being honest. I'm a centre midfielder. I'm box to box, all action. And yeah, the thing is, I think that since day one, since I've come in here, I think the majority of the boys and the staff especially have known what they're going to get from me on a consistent basis, and that's something that I really want to push on with here. We've still got quite a young squad, so I'd like to help them out in as many ways as I can. But my main objective, obviously, is I'm just trying to do the best that I can for the gaffer and the team pushing forward.
Do you think your position or your role may change when Seamus Keneally comes back?
Yeah, well, the thing with Seamus is, again, like I'd done a lot of homework before I come here, and I've heard and I've seen that he was absolutely outstanding last year. And I'm at a stage in my career where there's never enough competition. I want to be playing with the best possible players around me. And I think when Seamus comes back, it's another string in our bow to add to that midfield competitiveness, because we've got some really good players in there. And everybody, it can only push players forward.
And obviously coming away with a win last night is the main thing. That you've got to be happy with the win, the 3 points. Were you, as a team, were you happy with the performance?
I think that them wins last night, as a professional, are the best wins. I don't think that we've properly clicked as a team yet this year. I think there's a lot more to come from us. I was a little bit disappointed with the Wycombe performance. As a team, we were disappointed. We made some stupid errors, and I think that it shows how strong we are as a squad, because after that performance, we did come into a little bit of criticism in-house, and the players have responded fantastically. But yeah, last night, them kind of wins are so vital, especially in this league. We need to get into a knack of not playing well. When we don't play well, we're still picking up points, and we've spoken quite heavily about that.
Do you feel that, and I've seen this before in some matches, when a team scores in the first 2 or 3 minutes, does it change your mentality, your game plan as far as you approach it? Because you see sometimes where teams may sort of say, well, we've got the lead, we sort of ease up a bit. Is it how hard is it when you score early to maintain that concentration and to push forward?
Yeah, it is. And I think it's only natural that when you score an early goal, you've got something to protect. And from the 3rd minute last night, we had something to protect. It's definitely not the staff's way to sit back on any team, which is another reason why I just love playing for this football club and the staff here. The gaffer wanted us to push on and get the second, get the third. And again, last night, I think that we could have scored 3 or 4 goals. We do look potent going forward. But yeah, I think it's natural as well for them to kind of chuck everything at it. And the longer that the game went on, there was less football played. We couldn't get our match winners on the ball in the areas that we wanted to. But again, I thought every single player last night put in a shift, committed. And yeah, I think that everyone done their job last night as what they have done for the past week. We've had 3 great results now. It puts us in great stead. Like I said to you, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We've got a lot of work to do. We haven't achieved absolutely nothing yet. So the standards every day need to drive us forward, and like I said before, we need to aim for that number 1 spot, and then we'll just see where the season takes us.
Well, this is basically your 4th match in 11 days, and I there must be some fatigue, or it would appear, it might look from the fans' point of view that it got a little scrappy, but you must have been running a bit on empty towards the end of the match for you guys.
Yeah, it is very difficult after coming off the back of a real hard pre-season. John Coleman's pre-seasons aren't nice. That's the truth. They really aren't nice. And that gives us a great base foundation of fitness. So obviously coming off the back of that, and then the season literally so unforgiving. Saturday, Tuesday. You know, I can't remember the last time going into a game and feeling absolutely 100%. Now, I know that the gaffer's documented there's been a few illnesses around the camp, and there has been. But again, the mentality of the group, we've rolled our sleeves up. We've done what we needed to do to win the game. The staff are doing everything they can in the training week to look after us and to get us in the best physical condition for the weekends and the games coming up. But yeah, I think it got to about 75 minutes last night, and I looked over and there was still 15 minutes to go, and you think, is it going to be a bit of a slog this? But like I said, the boys rolled their sleeves up and I thought they were fantastic.
So speaking of goals and early goals, you were able to get on the score sheet, of course, against Cambridge in the 30th minute, and that was just your second league match for Stanley. And we've talked to some guys that came over and, maybe took 10, 15 matches to get on the score sheet, and they said, after a while, it really added up to a lot of pressure. So how big was it for your confidence to get that goal early on and kind of get that weight off your shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really a weight for me. I've come across a lot in my career of confidence players. You need to be a very good judge of character for that. But I'd like to think that I'm not a confidence player. I don't need confidence. I know my job. I'm an experienced lad now. And yeah, I go into every game and all that I want to do is the best for the football club and for the team. That's me.
Well, and that goal was special too, because you did mention, and we wanted to acknowledge and offer our condolences for the loss of your grandfather, because that was a special goal for you, wasn't it?
No, honestly, it was unbelievable. You couldn't write it. The first home game, my first ever League One goal. And my family were in the stands, and it was all the boys knew about it. And again, the boys all after the game and after I'd scored, look, listen, he'd be so proud of you. Little things like that. Even people on the outsides of the club, the admin staff and people like that, they all knew about it. And I'm getting a lot of people come up to me from around the club, giving me a cuddle. Yeah, it's just a fantastic club that is so family orientated, and it's clubs like this that I absolutely thrive and I love playing for.
It really is amazing, and that's the reason that I was drawn to Accrington Stanley is kind of the history and the stories and things like that got me first interested. But it's absolutely the people and the family atmosphere that it just it makes you want to do anything you can do to support this club and spread the word that hey, Accrington Stanley, it's a special place with special people that it's just not like anything else.
No, it is a fantastic club, and I think that it's only going to get bigger. I think it's only going to get more special. Obviously, the new stand is looking fantastic. It's going to be unbelievable. And yeah, like you say, the little club at Accrington Stanley, I think in the foreseeable future is not going to be a little club. I think we've agreed that we're a what's it called? We're a League One, a solid League One club now, and the club's really looking to only push on in one direction.
Well, that's what we're here for. Spread the word throughout the globe. And one of our most popular segments on the show is something that Tony came up with about a year and a half ago. And it started out with some North England versus South England questions. And I know that you're from the South, so you may have some different answers than some of the Northern guys. But people really look forward to this, and Tony has just done a great job with getting these questions together. So I'm going to turn it over to Tony now for the world famous rapid fire.
Oh, thanks, Phil, for that wonderful introduction. Okay, we got a couple of ones that I'm going to work in at the end that a couple of listeners sent in to see how you're settling up north. But let's start with some food questions. Have you tried mushy peas, or would you prefer garden peas?
I've definitely tried mushy peas.
Are they good?
I think they're fantastic.
Yes, that's perfect. That's the right answer. Red or brown sauce on your bacon sandwich?
I'll be honest, I mix it up. It depends what kind of mood I'm in.
Do you mix the two sauces together?
No, I definitely.
No, Phil, no, you don't do that.
I thought
Phil.
you was just about to press the red button. Then.
Okay, the next one is: would you have gravy on your chips?
No, I wouldn't. No.
Okay. If you were to have a full English, would you have it with or without black pudding?
Without.
And this is one, John Earnshaw wanted me to ask this one as well. Have you tried steak and kidney pudding yet?
No, but I know Colby is a massive fan, and he's told me about this. So it's definitely on my list to try.
Yeah, that's apparently he's bought. John works at the local store where I think Colby does his shopping, and I think that's why John had an inside track on the steak and kidney pudding. Speaking of sense of humor, who has the best sense of humor on the team?
Apart from me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Sean McConville. Definitely Sean McConville.
I could see that on the I Follow. He'll get some funny quips when he did the commentary last year.
Yeah, everyone around the club, they do say when me and Sean are together, there's a bit of a problem, really.
He's the one that also come out and said he hated spring or preseason training. He didn't shy away from that at all as well. Do you have any hobby or interest outside of football at this point?
Well, funny enough, today I bought my first set of golf clubs. All the boys play a lot of golf.
It's been a team activity now.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't let them go off on a golfing day and then me be left behind. So I've started doing that. I've started lessons. And things like that. So I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm not great. I'm nowhere near the finished article yet with the golf career, but I'm working on it.
It's a game that you can practice and it still frustrates you. But that one shot.
Who's the best golfer? Is it Michael Nottingham? I know he said he's pretty good.
No. He thinks he's good, right? He thinks he's good. And to be fair, he's very committed. He puts a lot of hours in, but he's nowhere near the best. Nowhere near. I've heard that Sean's very good. I haven't played with Sean yet, but I played with Matt Butcher the other day. And Matt looked very good. He looked very calm, composed, exactly what he's like as a footballer, really. He looks really pleasing on the eye. So yeah, he's at the moment he's the best one that I've played.
Okay. Do you have a favorite takeaway?
I can hit the ball a long way, but I have no idea where it's going to end up.
That's not the object of the game, Phil. Favorite takeaway, Harry?
Okay, I'm going to go outside the box here. I'd go African.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd go African.
Specific dish or...
I like all like jerk chicken, curry goat, things like plantain. I think it's I really do enjoy it.
I mean, I've had jerk chicken before that said it was Jamaican style. Is that different or is that similar? Or...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you like spicy foods that over here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm at, we like to put jalapeno peppers on our pizza. Is that something you'd like to try?
Yeah, I mean, I order them on my pizza. So yeah,
that's very good.
There you go. The right answer, Phil. Right. Okay, I just got the one I wanted to ask, the last one of mine, and I'll jump over to a listener question, is who is the tallest between Ross Sykes, Nottingham, and yourself?
I think it goes Ross Sykes, then me, then Notts.
Yeah, you're you're almost all over 6'4", and all of you over that, I guess. Are you? What, Nottingham?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that Darren Wood had wanted me to ask, with coming from the south, and you're moving into the area. He sort of wanted to know sort of what area you're moving into, and what are the big differences you've noticed between north and south that sort of maybe just jumped out at you.
Right. So I'm moving to Preston. I found a lovely house there for me and the family. And the differences between north and south, I would say, is definitely the weather. The weather's a big thing. Obviously, the accent. Sometimes I have to slow some of the boys down at training because I can't fully understand them.
Well, and this is one of the things John Earnshaw wanted to ask is, have you found the Lancashire accent easy to cope with? And I think you're probably having to say to some people to like you said, slow it down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, at training, there's a few of the lads from kind of Everton, Liverpool way, and sometimes I literally have to tell them to slow down because it is so difficult. But I mean, I've signed a long-term contract here, so maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah, a 3-year contract. Was that something that also made you want to sign with Accrington when they offered you the 3 years that had to make you know that they were committed to wanting to have you around?
Yeah, it was. I feel like I've got the best years of my career still. That I'm going into my prime as such. And again, like you said there, the commitment from the club, but then also my commitment as well. Football's massive for me. In my household, it literally plays if I don't have a good game and we lose, the family household is not really a nice place. I can't separate it. It's not really a nice place to be. But if we win, you're on cloud nine. So obviously there was my family to think about. And if I'm being completely honest with you, it wasn't that I asked for a 3-year deal. Like I said to you, I went into the contract negotiations fully open-minded. And that's what the gaffer wanted me to sign. So I was more than happy to commit me and my family's future and to really try and make it a successful period.
Well, and yes, Preston, you're just a skip and a jump down the motorway to the Wem Stadium, aren't you? So you're not when people say Preston, you're not far away at all.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It just so happened that I found a really nice house there that the family fell in love with, and I thought that we could be really happy there. And yeah, that's why it's Preston.
I wanted to just touch on you obviously you played last night. It was a tough match. You come away with 3 points, but and you mentioned about the recovery. How do you separate the physical part of the recovery to the mental part, or do you work on both of them like after the match and the next day?
It is both. Every week's different here at Accrington, and I'm sure that we'll go in tomorrow and we'll assess the game. I think we'll watch highlights. The gaffer will obviously identify what he thought that we've done really well, what we can improve on. Obviously, there's always room to improve. And I think that the boys who didn't play or need topping up will do a lot more training than the boys that did play. But again, it's a real good place to be, because even when you're not the hard working days, like I said to you before, it's just good to be in the boys' company. You have a laugh and a joke. And yeah, obviously recovery for Saturday starts now. It started as soon as the final whistle started, really. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday, and hopefully we can get another 3 points on the board, because then it will be from a good start, it'll turn into a great start.
Well, you mentioned on Saturday you're playing away at Crewe. There's a team that's hasn't got a win yet, and that's probably not always the easiest situation to go into because, they'll obviously be playing at home. They'll be up for it, looking for their first win. So I'm expecting you'll have a tough go of it. It's not going to be guaranteed 3 points, is it?
No, and I'll probably take this out of John Coleman's coaching manual, but it's all about us. I think that every game we've set our standards, and we need to be going in every game committed, thinking about what we can do. Each individual bringing their individuality out, their game that they bring, and I honestly think that this group of players are a very, very committed bunch, and they're a very good. We've got a very, very good squad. I think it possibly could be a bit bare at the moment. I think that we do need a couple of additions. I think that me as an experienced pro, like I said to you before, there can't be enough as a player. There can't be enough people through the door. I know fans always want new players, etc., etc. But the gaffers kept the majority of these boys together for a long, long time now, and I think that you can see by the way that we play. Like I said to you, every player knows their job down to a T.
When you've played Wickham and Rotherham so far that have both dropped down from the championship, do you feel that Stanley stacks up well against teams like those two?
Yeah, I can only speak from the games that I've played here so far in League One, and me personally, I don't think there's anything to be frightened of. Wickham are a good team, but I think on that day, I think that if we would have played our game, like I said, I think we let ourselves down in that first game. But if we'd have played our game, then we can beat anyone in this league.
Yeah, I think that that's a big thing for Accrington Stanley, and I think that's something that over the past year or two that we've really heard where things have changed, I guess, in terms of what John Coleman is vocalizing. Because if we go back 3 years ago to the club's first year in League One, it was really all about staying in League One, staying up. Like you said earlier, we're punching above our weight in League One, but that narrative has changed now, and it's no longer about staying up in League One. Like you mentioned earlier, Accrington Stanley is now an established League One club. This is a club that's now looking at, like you said, being able to beat any team, no matter who you're playing against, competing for the playoffs, competing for, like you said, going for that number one spot. So for you, what would you say is your goal for the season? Obviously, first place is the goal for the season, but, setting out into the season, what did you say was kind of the position you're shooting for? Are you guys shooting for the playoffs? Are you shooting for automatic promotion? Are you shooting for the league championship? What's the narrative in the locker room right now, I guess I would say?
Well, I think I'd be naive to say automatic promotion. Like I said, there's some massive teams in this league. But the first thing that I'd like to achieve is be sitting towards the end of the season, knowing that we're going to finish above 11th, what the club finished last year. I think that would be a great achievement. Am I right in saying that would be the highest that Accrington have finished?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, because last year.
First and foremost, we cement the 10th spot. I think that would be fantastic. And like I said to you, there's no limit for these boys. If we get our mentality right, if we stay together as a team, as a collective, I think if the boys play their part and then the fans play their part at the same time, I think we can be a really, really strong club. And I think that, like I said, we have to aim for that number one spot and then just see where the season takes us.
Yeah, I think that that's the mindset. Like you said, I mean, obviously you're going out there, you're trying to win every game, and if you win every game, then that gets you the number one spot. But the reality of football is that you're never going to win every game. But one thing I didn't get a chance to ask you about earlier when I was talking a bit about your early career is that you have been part of a championship winning club before. That was with Cheltenham in 2015-16. You were a big part of that. You scored 7 goals in the National League Championship season. So what was it like being a part of a championship team like that? And now with Accrington, kind of getting this team has maybe some of the same kind of vibes that championship team you played for had.
Yeah, I mean, that season was the best in my career. Again, it doesn't matter really about the level at which you win, and winning a trophy, winning a medal. You can do it at grassroots level, you can do it at school, you can do it wherever you want, and that winning feeling, no one can ever take that away from you. And yeah, it was fantastic. And that year, I think the Cheltenham fans clicked. I think that the team on the pitch clicked, and then we showed how much of a strong club and team that we could be, and everything just clicked into place. And you know, I played against Accrington that when they went up, and I got exactly that same feel. So, you know, it's a very, very long season, but at the end of this season, if I was to be able to say that we got promoted, then it would be my greatest ever achievement. Well, apart from my daughter, may I say, it would be my second greatest ever achievement.
Nice catch on that one. Good, well done, Harry.
I was just about to go into the doghouse there. If my missus.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah. Yeah, you saved yourself there. I just wanted to touch on, this is part of football, and it happened relatively quickly last week with Cameron leaving to go to Ipswich, and you know, your connection with him has been documented. How does something like that and the rumors that go around, you know, if somebody's looking at somebody, how does that impact the team at this time of the season before the window closes?
Yeah, I mean, the Cameron situation was a real weird one because I'm really close with Cam, and it all happened so quickly. It wasn't, people from the outside, I don't think they quite understand as a professional footballer the sacrifice and the commitment that we make. I know Cameron's got a little boy and he's got a missus himself, and you know, you go from being in your house one night, going to training the next day, to automatically having a medical that evening and then turning up for another team. And, you know, your family kind of lifestyle gets ripped up, gets torn apart, and then it is very unsettling. It is really unsettling. But from the boys' point of view, well, first and foremost, from my point of view, I was obviously absolutely gutted to see him go. He's a fantastic player. In that Cheltenham team, I got promoted with Cam, so I've known him a fair few years now, and he was like a boy then. He was still a very, very good player, stood up and was counted, and you could rely on him, but he was very young. And obviously when I've come to Accrington now, you know, he was one of the main voices in the changing room. He's grown up so much. He's a natural leader. And yeah, like it was mental, because in the summer I'd speak to him a hell of a lot about coming to Accrington, and he was telling me how much time that we're going to spend together. He was telling me about golf. He took up golf, and that we'd go for meals with the families, and then next minute, you know, he's out the door, and I was gutted. But the team point of view, obviously everyone's disappointed to see him go. You know, as a player, is it the right decision? Obviously, I'd have loved for the club to keep Cam, but obviously, on the flip side of that, I do understand the reasons why they have let him go. And if there's one thing that is common knowledge, is that the chairman is 100% trying to do the best thing by the football club. There's no doubt about that. So it's something that you have to respect. And get on with it, really. And you know, Harvey's come in since Cameron's left, and he's 100% stood up to that position. So yeah, we're still solid enough, but it's never nice seeing some of the best players go.
It's unfortunate, but it really is the business side of football, and from a fan's point of view, we see a player show up and go onto the pitch, and we're excited like yourself. But it's the personal aspect and the impact on you and your family when a player does move. So I think that's something that the fans need to understand a little bit more, because it's. After all, you've got a family, and Cameron has a family to look after, and it's a short. Professional footballer is a relatively short career, and you've got to do. At the end of the day, you've got to do what's best for yourself and your family, don't you?
It really is, and it's sums come up. I spoke to him when he was doing his medical, actually, and Cam would, and fair play to him, he deserved it, but his wages will go up. His change of lifestyle will change. But he was gutted. I'll be completely honest with you. He was absolutely gutted. And when I asked him, well, you're going to a big club. Why are you feeling like this? It literally was. And the first thing that he said to me was that he was going to miss the boys. And again, I can't stress how important it is for a team to have the camaraderie that Accrington have in that changing room. The boys are fantastic. They really are.
The one last question that I wanted to touch on, and it sort of goes along with the theme that Harry's been saying about the lads, the quality in the changing rooms. How impressed have you been so far with the maturity of young James Trafford coming in, playing in goals at that such young age? And he seems to command the box when crosses are coming in. He seems mature beyond his age. How impressed have you been with him?
Yeah, it's sometimes easy to forget that the boy's 18 years old. It's unbelievable, really. He's pulled off some great saves, and taking an 18-year-old on loan, I think you've got to accept that he will make a mistake now and again. I think every goalkeeper makes a mistake every now and again, but you do look deeper than that, and I think it was a massive, massive, massive week for James, the way that he reacted to that, because someone of his age could easily have gone under, and he hasn't. He stood up and be counted. The boys have got around him, and yeah, we all win and lose together. We score together, we concede together. So it's nice to see him get over that as quickly as what he has, and he put in a great performance last night.
Yeah, and his first professional clean sheet, so that's first of hopefully many.
Yeah, and we've got two great goalkeepers. Toby's a very, very good goalkeeper, and I think that them two are going to be battling all season long for who's going to be playing, who's not. But again, that competition can only be good for the team.
Well,
yeah, it's never a bad thing when you have two guys that are competing. We definitely saw from Toby last season that he's a great keeper, and it's just an exciting time to be an Accrington Stanley fan. I don't know if there's ever been a more exciting time to be an Accrington Stanley fan. Like you said, what you have is a chance where it seems like every year Accrington has a chance to finish historically higher in the table than you guys have ever been before. So, it's a fun time to be doing a podcast and talking to you about this too.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. And no, just I'm the same as all you guys. I'm really looking forward to this transfer window closing and us not losing any more players, if I'm being honest. I know that it's been documented that the two boys up top have attracted a lot of attention, and my God, I really hope that we hold on to them.
Yeah, and it's, as I say, that's the thing, that the transfer window, it's we know it's a business, but it's got to play on people's minds a bit, and then there'll be a sigh of relief if the team is left intact at the end of the window. But you mentioned Toby Savin, and there's obviously lots of matches coming up with the Caribou Cup coming up, and then the Papa John Trophy. And so there's going to be opportunity for Toby to get some playing time, and as Phil mentioned, he come in when last season when Nathan Baxter went down and played superbly. So I know the players. I know as a fan, I got confidence in him coming in, and I know the players do too. But I just wanted to thank you.
Just before we get any sponsors, I think that's the Carabao Cup. The Caribou Cup must be something you have up there in Canada, Jody.
Well, yeah, got me on that one too, Phil. All right. It's the old League Cup that I used to call it anyway. On the just wrapping up, Harry, I appreciate you reaching out and joining us today. It's been a pleasure from our point of view, and I say your honesty is refreshing, and we wish you all the best for the upcoming season. And you've been a great addition to the squad, and I know Darren Wood had said he would be, and he's been bang on. So. We wish you all the best, and thank you for being part of this interview today. Cheers.
It was my pleasure, mate. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely, Harry. It's been great having you on the show and great watching you play these first few matches. And we're excited to see for the rest of the season. And we appreciate you we appreciate you taking the time to come on the show with us today. And we've had a great time. We always like to finish up with an on Stanley on. So if everybody's ready, on 3, 1, 2, 3, on Stanley on.
Cheers, Harry.
Cheers, Harry.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too, mate.